Great to have you here. So you are People and Organization Director at Mars Central Europe.
I am, and thank you very much for having me here. It's a big honor and been pleasure, and the great energy of the auditor. It's just amazing.
Lovely. I know about it that you really spent over 14 years at Mars in a different roles, regions, positions, but they all somehow link to people and organization, and many of them link to the empowering women, bringing the voice of women to the room. So is this something what resonates with your personal purpose?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I indeed working with Mars for the last 14 years, and I think for me it's the best place to work. It's a great company with a great culture and actually great fundamental principles which help ensure the equality and equal treatment of all people, men, women, everybody, and it's just amazing to be there.
Yeah, Mars is really famous for its diversity, so I was curious to see how does it resonate with your value system. But you really managed to get the fair representation of men and women in your executive roles across Europe. You really have a lot of programs to support women, to support diversity and inclusion. So what it is so specific about Mars culture to enable all these shift changes and positive movement to diversity?
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, I mean, it all starts with the vision of the company. And you know what? Even I have it with me. The world we want tomorrow starts with how we do business today. And the world we want tomorrow as a company is a world which is inclusive. And where women can unleash the whole potential, because we believe it will bring their society to the next level. And that's why, today in a company, we do a lot of things to enable women and actually to support them and to ensure that we have the potential of women in our workplaces, in our marketplaces, in a supply chain where we get our sourcing from. And it's a big, big agenda for us. It's a part of bigger agenda, which is called sustainability in generations. So, yeah, this is one of fundamental things for Mars. But historically, our company is based on the principles, and we have these principles outlined since 1947. So it's like long story, really one direction, one values based of a company, and we all share them. So that's, this is what's shaping the culture. And in these 5 principles that we had before, it was about freedom, responsibility, efficiency, mutuality, and children quality, for sure. If you read them, you understand that the agenda of being equal and treating people equally, it's with us for a quite long, long, long time. And this all enabled us to learn as an organization how to remove some barriers, how to help people progressing, how to help women thrive within our organization. And that brought us, great results. Yes, we do have some overall ambitious targets to be 100% of leadership team balanced everywhere. In Central Europe, I can say we are proud to have half of our leadership team women, and for a long time. So, we do have a success stories. And it doesn't come just as a coincidence. It's a result of the long-term programs that we had in Mars. And and I do have my fellow colleagues here, for example, so they will be able, to share during the break their own stories. But we do have supporting programs.
Yeah, no, big congratulations. I think it's an amazing result. I know how difficult it is to move from zero to something, because we did this journey with Beer Business, and it's ongoing effort. I think what you mentioned, it's about culture. It is not about the one leader having the idea and then to move it. It has to be sustainable. So that has to be the conscious decisions of all business that this really makes a sense to do.
That's true, that's true. And you know what? Part of our culture is actually talking to people, and we believe that it's super important that you open the conversation and you have this one-to-one interactions and you talk, and therefore we ask women as well to speak and to speak up. And during the last 2 years, we actually opened a big program, and which is called Full Potential. This program is created to enable women potential, especially on a global platform. And there was a big, big campaign which we called Here to be Heard. It's a great campaign that Mars actually initiated together with some research institutions. And we went to women across the globe in different industries, different countries, different ethnicities, and we asked single question to them. What needs to be changed so you could reach your full potential, so women could reach their full potential. And you know what, it was just single question, but a lot of insightful answers, which were analyzed, and only small part, actually around 10% was our associates of Mars, all the rest were outside of Mars. And we made a great research that is actually available on our website, so everybody can read it. A lot of insightful things, and there were like 8 areas mentioned, where women feel they do have some barriers or some obstacles or some beliefs or some system barriers that needs to be removed. And and therefore we do have kind of recommendations what companies should do and what business should be focusing on to ensure that these barriers are removed. Yeah, because the huge belief is actually business is to play a role here. We are a great corporation. I mean, our fellow colleagues are big corporations. We are equipped enough. We do have money, we do have resources, we do have belief, and we have a role to play to change the world to the better. That's where, we really think that we can do something, and that's cool.
You mentioned program campaign Here to Be Heard.
Yeah.
The part of that exercise is to be able to listen, which sometimes we are more born to speak rather than listen and reflect. So do you do anything with your leaders, people in the business, to help them, to educate them, to prepare them for listening really with care and reflecting on what they hear?
Yeah, for sure we do. For sure we do. And I think, my big belief personal is the whole experience that you are getting as an associate, as an employee of whatever company is actually created in the team. Your line manager, your peers, what is the atmosphere, how people do communicate, what the conversation is happening. So that's why for sure our big focus is on our line managers and on a culture of having team conversations. So for example, for a long time we do have high-performing collaborations as a topic, as a toolkit, as a frame that helps people to have a conversation, like what is the way which makes your life comfortable? And myself as a manager, I'm having these conversations with my team, and I'm asking just directly, like, how can I help? What can I do? So you would be flexible enough, so you would be comfortable enough. And I can tell you, it starts with a conversation and ends up with a very practical stuff. And today I was mentioning the flexible hours. When I came to this role, all my team is having families and children, and I don't. So I don't know how the life goes for them. With all big respect, they all desire to start a working day at whatever hour. Somebody starts at 7 a.m., somebody starts at 9 a.m. I don't care. It's not the way how, I give this flexibility. If this makes your life easier, go for it. We manage by performance, by task management, not by, hours and strict management. So we actually, and it's all about, how do we know about biases that we all have? So we do have some training programs, I Can Be Me for women. How to avoid biases for line managers, how to make inclusive culture for senior leaders. Yeah, because we are all human. These biases didn't appear yesterday. Yeah. It's not because we are bad. It's part of who we are. It was formed for 10,000 or more, thousands and thousands of years. You just need to know about them. You need to know how do you react. You need how to react when you're, sitting in the plane and then you hear a woman's voice. Hello, I'm your captain. Yeah. You need to react you need to know how you're reacting when you are hiring somebody who, for example, comes from maternity leave. We all have some limiting beliefs and some empowering beliefs. And understanding how your brain as a manager, as a senior manager works, actually helps you to say, okay, hold on. This is, this I believe it is true because it's, my history says me something. But I need to challenge myself as a leader. And I need to challenge myself as an organization. Like, is it fact? Is it belief? And how this belief might limit me in a way so I don't have the best performance. Yeah.
Sure. I would love to go back to that program here to be heard, because we speak a lot about what can be done to support women. You mentioned flexibility as one of important enablers for people in business to manage their life successfully, for women to develop their career at the same time having the balanced life. So what everything was there in this campaign or the program? What more you did to support women? What would you share as inspiration with other companies?
Yeah, I would share that the women agenda reflects the society where we live. And we all grew up, and we just had a great example of, a person growing up, and then you are told to do something or not to do something because you are a girl, or boys are struggling with the same. You are told not to do something because they are boys, and it's the same things. And we see that, labor market actually reflects some differences in messaging to men and to women. And there are professions where you don't expect, that many people, that many women to be. So we see like sales force, for example, is male-dominant profession right now in Central Europe countries. We see supply chain and manufacturing, not super, women-led, more male-dominant. We obviously see some gaps in leadership teams of some companies. Yeah, so there is a overall trend which reflects the belief. But decision-making points has actually come earlier in life. And the question is, how can we support young ladies to make a choice and follow their dreams and their desires? And who can be this sounding board for them? Who can be a mentor, woman mentor, who will tell, look, it doesn't matter. I mean, you want to do it? Go for it. There will be a challenge for sure, like everybody will be facing some challenges, but that's okay. It doesn't limit you. So I would say mentorship is quite important. And for women in our case, so we were just mentioning today, women are not asking, women are not going for the job openings if they don't believe they are 120% ready for it. They need some support. We need some support. We need somebody to come to us and say, look, there is an opportunity. You will be fine. We'll support you. Go. And that's why the created mentorship programs and mentorship concept in big companies is something good. And if you don't have big company, find the mentor. I don't know, find it tomorrow, here. This is a great community to learn from. Go and find somebody who will inspire you and who will support. So mentorship programs, we have some specialized programs, like, for example, women in sales and women in supply. This is specifically two functions where you need special support, and I see people are nodding. So yeah, I'm sure it's great to have examples like today here on the stage, women managing big corporations. But you need to support and ensure that they do have somebody to talk about how challenging it is to manage diverse team, how challenging it is to come into industry which is male dominated, and you need infrastructure around it. So my message is that it doesn't come just from conversations. It should be systemic infrastructure around you to support you on the go.
And do you have a mentor, you personally?
Well, during my 14 years, I believe I have a lot of them. But what I can tell you, so one of the interesting facts out of our research, I mean, not interesting, it's obvious. So out of this research Here to Be Heard campaign, one of the findings is actually that male do have a role to play as well. Yeah, and it really differs, if men believe in women or they don't. Yeah, and how can you inspire and how you can collaborate with, men, so they would be encouraging and helping people, helping women on the way. And I've heard, I mean, I don't have any proof. It's just the only proof which comes is from my personal experience that the best, I've heard it. So the best supporters in Western world for women's careers and women leadership are fathers of daughters.
Yeah. I would agree with that, have the same experience.
Yeah, and I just see that, this changing more and more. And yeah, I think it's important, so they do play a role, and they understand, and they support, and they have somebody from our side, from women, who would explain, and who would have a conversation, and who would speak up. I think we need to speak up.
Yeah.
We need to tell our stories. We need to request for our needs, and we need to ensure that people do understand.
With that, Daria, I will thank you very much for your speech, for answering all the questions and sharing experience from what you do personally and what you do as a business at Mars. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know if you have...